Hello everybody, Pinstripe here, and welcome to another Grunt League match. Today, Group B, we've got RavenCrown versus FiftyMeth, and tonight I'm joined by KB.
Good evening, everybody.
And we've got a special treat for you tonight, as we bring in two new maps, and an updated older map. First round, Cold Front, second round, Barnyard Blitz, and third round, if we get there, it will be Pigs in Space, the new Pigs in Space, with all the buildings and shifted spawns and just plenty to look forward to. But as you can see, RavenCrown going with the Med, Para, Gren, 2 Sappers. Don't forget this is for Cold Front. And FiftyMeth going with the Med, Gren, Sapper, Scout, Gunner. So a healthy mix of all your pig vegetables. But I mean, I know that you've literally just joined us, KB, but going into Cold Front, have you played it much?
No, it's not one of the ones I've played overly much. I think I've played on it once or twice just to check it out, but I'm not super familiar, so I'm going to be very interested to see how this one unfolds. Lineups look like an interesting mix as well, so yeah, going to be some classic Grunt League action, I feel.
Across the board, both players have gone for fairly similar lineups. They both seem to be banking on rounds 1 and 3. I mean, going into this match, it is week 3 already of Grunt League, so we're well over halfway through. And it's RavenCrown that's kind of on the back foot on this one. He's in 4th place at the moment after he skipped week 1 and then lost last week to Crypto 2-0. Meanwhile, FiftyMeth is kind of sitting comfortable at the moment in 2nd place, beating Looney in week 1 with that 2-1 win. And it will be 50 to go first.
Yeah, I must say I was impressed by FiftyMeth starting this league, going up against the veteran Raging Looney and coming away with a victory. That was some very handy early points for him. But yeah, Raven, still a little room to improve rather. Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, he's found the MoMA already. But it is a very slippery place to be, Cold Front. This is, of course, an old version of Hamburger Hill. So plenty of hills. It can be quite disorientating. Snowy maps can be funky like that sometimes, but it is swapped out for ice flow, so we have plenty of buildings and plenty of crates, including some medical darts and a self-heal. But where are they? I doubt both of these players know, but whether or not we'll be seeing any of that in this game, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, seeing this now for the first time in a little while since I last played this map, I remember now, yes, this is a very disorienting map to get around. A little hard to remember where the crates are too. Nice cluster there from FiftyMeth just to kick off. But yeah, not an easy map, this one.
Yeah, he's definitely targeting the orderly from the get-go. Tranquilizer, then cluster combination. I doubt that medic is going to survive the next turn. I don't quite know how much health he's on just yet. We might get a peek in a moment. But yeah, these buildings are also indestructible. On 21, that's a magic number for the scout. So Raven trying to retaliate with some quick jetpacks. Gets them in quite comfortably.
Yeah, and a good idea going for the medic straight away. Of course, the MoMA didn't work out at the start, so both medics are separate and therefore easy targets.
Yeah, if you can get a hit in here, that will be a solid 80 damage. He just needs to get it away, angles it down for safety. Bit of a self-hit, but he also removes the threat of the poison, so it actually turned out to be a great turn for Raven.
And creates a body block as well in the process.
Who'd have thought it? So, starting off pretty tough, but kind of recovering quite nicely. I mean, I'm guessing that power on the bazooka for the self-damage was intentional, given his position, but it will be 50 to collect the medical darts. The self-heal crate is on a hill, so a jetpack is required. Unless you're Nicholas, who could probably jump to it, I imagine. But even so, there's going to be maybe some damage on the medic. That feels like a quiz question. Will it damage the med? Place your bets.
I think it will. It's going to be low, but it will just about reach, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe it did. Yes, indeed.
Takes him down, and the extra damage onto his own med, who slips down the hill. And that medical crate is still sat there. It is only 10 health, so it's not exactly a massive boost.
Fair bit of damage to his own medic there, but I quite like that tactic. Get a little bit of double damage in there with the TNT. Quite a daring one for Grunt League. I like that.
Yeah, certainly damage across the board, I suppose, but it is Raven who goes for the health and will be thoroughly disappointed with just the 10. But that is finally locked down. All health crates across most maps now have locked health, So usually either 20 being the default, or 10s if you're unlucky. There aren't that many 50s. I think the only 50s you'll find are kind of the ones that you would normally find in any given map, just not the new ones. And that ended up being a decent hit with the cluster.
Yeah, not bad at all, actually. That was quite close to full damage. Saw a few 12s in there, so yeah, working out fairly decently in the end.
It's funny, because the technique is to like try and hit X in quick succession to get that crazy damage, or even knockback, but sometimes it is a bit easier to kind of blast it over the head so that the bombs kind of loop overhead, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's often a risk with when you're playing multiplayer with Parsec and there's a little bit of input lag. Sometimes you're... Oh!
That was a spicy hit. Sadly on his own teammate, so...
Yeah, sorry, I was taken aback a bit there. I didn't expect that. Just saw it rolling away and then suddenly turns the corner and hits his own dude. So, yeah, not super smooth there with the poison.
I think he was banking on that maybe rolling down the hill towards another one of Raven's pigs, but sadly not. And takes a TNT to the face, and also will slide down the hill. No one utilising the buildings yet, but...
Still sliding. Still sliding.
Gunner down to 46, so certainly paid off. That was a good 94, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Oh, sniper rifle, that's going to handy.
Yeah, you'll find those, as I said, the medical options that we now have with the medical darts in the self-heal, but you'll also find a sniper rifle, and I think I went with kind of the default stuff, so you'll find heavy machine guns, there should be rocket launchers, and I think homing missiles as well. That's
a very nice mortar.
Yeah, 50's certainly shown over the last few weeks, his mortars have been very consistent. So
yes, always nice to see a good heavy weapons player, isn't it, Pin? I think we quite like the heavy weapons pigs as well. So yeah, always refreshing to see others who are just as strong.
Yeah, and I think looking at these guys' lineup for these 3 rounds, the inclusion of the gunners is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I've been quite enjoying the latest pig pool, where I think there are slightly reduced scouts, which has given even more room for gunners to be used. I mean, from a pragmatic point of view, being a big gunner fan, it's been nice to see them more, but it's also been good to see just how other players are adapting to the gunners. Are they going to rely on the flamethrower for big damage? Are they practicing their mortars? It's always nice to see gunners in the mix.
Yeah, I think as well, with that, as you mentioned, the reduction in the amount of scouts, a lot of players now seem to be going with either just the single, like they'll take the single scout in one round, and then in the next there'll usually be 2 scouts. It seems to be quite common.
Yeah, I'm noticing that as a strategy too. They'll pick a map and say, on this map my focus is going to be on poisoning, and then on the others they'll take a scout just because they're a useful class to have, but they might have a map where they focus more on just solid damage sort of thing.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
I think from observing other people's strategies and then just playing myself, I find that I usually take a bit of everybody. I don't normally stack scouts in particular, so I think taking that forward, I'll probably just stick with the taking 1 scout per round, because that's also a pretty viable tactic that for those, I guess, versatile players that aren't fully offensive, but they aren't fully defensive players. They just kind of like to take the mix, which is exactly what 50's done here. And this position, interesting, I suppose. Hefty damage on both pigs, but the tranquilizer coming in, and he's going to instead stick with the high explosive and look elsewhere.
Yeah, good to be making use of all the 30 seconds he had left. I thought he was going to stand close to his own pig and then risk damaging Zone 1 with a throw of high explosive grade. But no, it's good he chose a different strategy, took his time. This is quite a good target as well, the poisoned sapper.
Yeah, again, detonating over the head, letting the grenades just roll back down again. And more sliding to come. And a body block as well, with the skip turn.
I'd say I'm getting flashbacks from the campaign of Hamburger Hill, making your way all the way up to the final area where you can collect medals. Yeah. Someone hits you, you slide all the way back down to the start of the map and only have 15 seconds on your turn to get all the way back.
Yeah, those 15 seconds are just... No, that's where I draw the line. That's where Hogs just isn't fun to me.
Yeah, I wonder what the programmers were thinking there, and that was a very nice move, leaving Percy with just 2 health left and in skip range. He's going to skip his turn now, though. I'm afraid I've not got turn order written down because I only joined at the last second. And he does skip now. Very nicely done.
Yes, so another turn gained. The bar has 50 just ahead. And, I mean, if you look at his current standings, the Orderly and the Gunner, and the Grenadier, I should say, Orderly and Gren are still alive for 50. They are on low health. In fact, both could easily be taken out in a single turn. But it's really where Raven's got to look to either gain the skip turn or just to get the damage in that he needs.
Yeah, I think if I was Raven, I'd just focus on getting some solid damage in. I mean, he's falling a little behind on health now. I think it's worth just trying to, really start to lay down some abuse. If you can find any good targets, having a bit of a wander over in this lonely corner of the map here.
Yeah, I mentioned skipping a turn, but I realised he has no scouts, so never mind. But that's where he really needs to utilise both of his sappers and get that damage in. But he needs to find the Grenadier. The Grenadier ran up the hill, but he's kind of stuck down here. A bit of tunnel vision on the Orderly. It's not a bad decision, because he's sticking with just the safe option of the shotgun, not damaging his Grenadier. Needs to angle slightly to the left here. That's a little bit wayward. Does get it.
Yeah, not really moving his cursor an awful lot there, but he did get killed in the end, although he is standing quite close to his Grenadier, who's also going to take damage from the kill here, so yeah, could be a tempting double target down here for 50Meth if he can get decent mortar away, maybe.
Yeah, they're definitely within poison range of getting a simple double, so whether or not he'll... Maybe I'd honestly go more for the Gren, because if you overhit it, at least you then nudge that Grenadier more towards the Sapper and then get the double hit on both of them with some poison, but it's going to hit the Sapper more than the Gren. Still double damage though, nicely done.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, I'm impressed by 50Meth's use of heavy weapons. Also, I thought it was worth mentioning, we were saying a moment ago how Raven doesn't have a scout on this map. I've noticed that even when he does take a scout, he's very reluctant to use poison and tends to just rely on snipers. I feel like that's something he maybe needs to get more comfortable with, is the use of poison, planning ahead for skip turns, that kind of thing. A bit of room for improvement there, possibly.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that as well is that when you look at all the new maps and all the new healing items available, I feel maybe in some respects the scout can be used more for damage early on, if that makes sense. So to try and quickly get the enemy's health down and then poison, because again, if you're collecting, that's going to do a ton of damage. Only 19 because he blasted away, okay, but damages himself in the process. That was maybe a little bit overkill.
Yeah, kind of stylish, but a little clumsy at the same time, maybe. I like the use of the barrel, though. That's always nice to see.
Yeah, so with more options to heal, other than just simply relying on a medic, I don't know. I feel like the scout is kind of... The poison is more coming into the late game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense, and I actually think it's a very welcome addition. It means, we're starting to see slightly different metas being used, and more defensive playstyles being used too. Not just with healing, but also, hiding away with gunners and stuff too. I have to say, I feel like we're hitting on pretty good formula at the moment for not just rules, but maps as well, and seeing all the different approaches.
Yeah, I think the other benefit as well is that it doesn't actually take away from the medic and how important he is anyway, just because of, I guess, how vital the tranquilizers can be. So, and of course a healing hand here and there. I don't know. I just wish that we had the single player medic, because for him to by default have medical darts and medical balls as well would just be so nice.
Yeah, absolutely would be. Yeah, I have to say it would be nice to have the sort of campaign medic in the mix, but unfortunately not. Oh, and that's not going to be the best cluster. They're going to fall down. Oh dear.
19 down. Oh, and wait, no, kills his own sapper in the end. I was going to say, when he threw that, that did not look like enough power. And for a chance to take down that gunner, ends up killing his own sapper in the end.
In an ironic way, that could have been a benefit, because I did notice that the sapper and I believe possibly the grenadier at the bottom as well were both in poison range, and now 50Meth is using his scout, so he could have potentially got a double poison, double skip with the two guys at the bottom who are quite close to each other. But in the end, he just poisons the paratrooper anyway, so meh.
Yeah, and this is, I guess, really not the guy that you want in the late game, because I think this guy is also all out of jetpacks. If not, he has maybe one left, but if he... no, sadly none. He could again still get the kill if he jumped on the head and then hit the full direct, but I think he's just banking on maybe dealing the damage. I don't know. A little bit indecisive.
Yeah, RavenCrown's one of those players, still a lot of room to improve. It was nice to see a player of similar ability, I thought, was Busy Guy, who we saw has actually come quite a long way since the first league. He had a good match against Dimension, ended up being quite close in their second game. RavenCrown, I still feel like there's a little bit of room there. Ooh, as we're going to see.
I mean, Sniper Rifle will do it much easier in this situation, but...
Yeah, much easier. I'm not sure he's really taking much notice of his inventory, really, but that's got to be the ideal. Oh, is he going to spot it? Yeah, there we go.
So that'll be another skip turn, and the other pig on 23, that's of course a magic number for some poison, so this is very much going the way of 50Meth, but it is the Grenadier, so could he look for a target to maybe get a skip turn on the Sapper? How much health does he have, and is it possible? 90, so yeah, I think if he can ace this, although he has been very tentative with his clusters so far. They haven't worked out too well, so he needs to make sure he gets the right amount of power and the right detonation time as well. That looks decent, but I don't think it'll be enough to skip the turn.
No, I'm going to say 70-something maybe, possibly low 80s. Let's see what he ends up with. Ooh. Ah. Now.
He's... Oh. He's moving. He's moving the camera. I think if he aims down.
Oh no!
Oh no! So
oh dearie me!
I guess that's a problem with indestructible buildings. I thought he would. I thought he'd like maybe continue running and then kind of make it back onto the playable area. But okay, that highlights a slight problem with Cold Front.
Something that may need to be addressed in future.
Yeah.
Can I just say that there better be a top 10 fails and plays video at the end of this league, and that's got to be the number one.
That's got to be one. But even though the kill came, it will not be enough for Raven to take this round as his power falls. And 50 comfortably, despite that crazy ending, takes the win on this first round on Cold Front. So we go next up to Barnyard Blitz. So welcome back everyone to round 2. Moving on to my baby. It is Barnyard Blitz. This will be the first time that we ever gaze upon this one. Cold Front was a little bit unexpected. But thankfully, I guess 50 taking that round deservedly. And moving on, Raven starting with the double para, scout, double gunner. Nice to see. And 50 going with the para gunner, scout, para gunner. So exactly the same lineup, just slightly different orders. And I mean, again, I have to ask KB, going into Barnyard Blitz, how much have you played it?
Now, this is one I played a little bit more, not quite as much. I think Railroad and there's a few others I played a little bit more, similar sorts of maps. This one I have played a few times, though, and I do enjoy it, actually. It's an interesting one. You can see here, I think the approach is going to be invade with the paras, keep long range and just bombard away with the gunners, and then try and get in there for some cheeky poisons, probably from a distance with the scouts. So, yeah, we'll have to see if they take similar or different approaches here. It's going to be a little bit hard to judge, but a cool map, this one. Interesting to see it done competitively for the first time as well. So, yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, you mentioned during the end of the last game about Raven being one of those players that is still getting into competitive. He actually beat Busy Guy last season, so Raven is actually returning for Season 3 and going first this time. But the weird thing, right, is that this is, of course, Group B. Raven is in 4th place, and that is the exact same group and exact same position that he finished in last season. It was a bit spooky.
It's a bit spooky. We'll be hoping for an improvement either way. You were right about the victory against Busy Guy, actually. I forgot about that one, which was... Yeah, I remember that being quite an entertaining match. Ooh, watch out for those mines. He was very close there.
Look at the minimap, please. I beg you.
Yeah, we don't want a repeat of Hedgerow Warfare the other day and all the running through the middle. That was quite entertaining, I must say. Got to love the Grunt League.
It's quite something, but this is Raven demonstrating that it is possible on 45 seconds to steal all the health, as there is 80 HP in total available, but now he has made himself prime target number 1 for 50, as he has invaded his side and taken his health crate, which if it was me, I would be absolutely fuming, but I guess that's what you get on 45 seconds.
It is an absolutely devilish strategy, and he should be ashamed of himself, and yet I absolutely love it. That's a brilliant way to start off. Pinch all the health, take away your opponent's advantage. Nice start, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, in terms of weaponry, as you can see, he's about to collect the rocket launcher here on the top. There are air bursts as well, and if you don't happen to bring a paratrooper at all when playing on this map, there are jetpacks that eventually come down, and that's way too close. As soon as he jetted off, I was like, wait, there's a wall in front of you. Don't do it, but it was just too late.
I thought he might turn around and try and get one of the jetpacks sort of under the edge of the building, which is possible and could have done some damage, but no, just flew straight up into it. It was, yeah, not the best start.
Yeah, now if I was Raven-eyed, I think he's got the right idea. He wants to steal all of the resources here, and that kind of looks like an AI move. I thought he was going to drop and collect the crate, but instead he's looking maybe for a body block. Again, I would honestly look to take the pillbox, because that's got the 150 armor on the same side as your opponent, and that would really kind of mess up 50's wires, because then he's got two targets to choose from, one with the extra armor and one who's just stolen all his health crates, but instead he's now got both paratroopers to focus on. 210 HP on that para.
That is terrifying. But yeah, I agree with you strategically as well, Ben. I would have gone for the pillbox there. He could have potentially got a double hit as well. I noticed that 50Meth's two, was it the gunner? Yeah, they were kind of in a line on that hill, so who knows, could have even got some double damage there, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's now going to be lacking that armor, and oh no, he's done it again!
Oh. 2 turns down to 14 health.
Oh my word.
He is kind of gifting it to Raven right now. And
yeah, he is. Raven coming into this looking very confident, actually. 50Meth, I thought, in the previous game, played really quite professionally and impressively, but he's starting to, betray his inexperience a little here.
Yeah, those two hits just being slightly too close to the wall, and now even though he was able to collect the resources of the airburst that Raven could have easily stolen from him, he doesn't make it count. And Raven having some interesting maneuvers trying to snipe, but does get the kill.
Well, I noticed in the previous game as well, he was zooming in with the scope, but not actually moving left to right while zoomed in. He seemed to be sort of then coming out and physically, moving his pig while out of zoom. So yeah, it was a little bit strange there. I don't think he's having some kind of problem. Well,
that's kind of ironic, given that Raven is the controller user here. 50's the one using the keyboard. That's how he naturally plays. So the things that Raven are doing are the things that I would expect 50 to do, because playing with keyboard to me is just so weird. But
yeah, it certainly feels unnatural to me in Hogs. But yeah.
So we now have all of the crates taken. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody wants a pillbox. It's just
very, very strange that it's standing right there. You got all that armor and firepower. But yeah, this is Grunt League, I suppose.
Oh,
now this could be a nice shot too.
Yeah, it's a perfect hit. He just needs to angle it up a wee bit as he does.
I don't understand these aiming problems. It's strange. Raven must know that you can move while zoomed in. Well, he still gets a 50 anyway, but
yeah, that was almost a no scope, almost.
Yeah, pretty stylish, I'd say.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. We did check inputs at the start of the game, and both players are able to aim up and down, so I've no idea. But Jones is still just chilling in there, and I could see what 50 was trying to do with the jetpacks, but when you've got a pig that is so kind of wedged into the building, the best you can do is just throw a grenade in there, or just anything but a jetpack, basically.
Yeah, I wondered what he was doing flying over to the score, and he could have just run, but he's still got 18 damage with the jetpack actually, so not bad from 50 there. He's not going to have time to do a whole lot else though. One more jetpack and maybe a quick machine gun.
Maybe there is time for a bazooka, he just needs to...
Oh, he's quick with his menu maybe. Oh, just the machine. Oh no, not even that.
So that's 3 turns now from 50 that just haven't worked out.
You can definitely feel the nerve setting in.
Yeah, that first jetpack was a bit strange, because there's nothing blocking him from running up to the paratrooper and doing that, but ended up using a lot of time. Yeah, I mean, I guess he did get some damage, but yeah, it just wasn't what he was expecting.
No, compared to the sort of cool, calm and collected way he played in the first game, I can only think that maybe those first 2 turns with the big self-damage and the slightly, odd manoeuvres of...
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, way too far. No, I just think maybe those first 2 turns that really put him on the back foot with all the self-damage and stuff, he could be just a little flustered now and a little, lost with his strategy, getting a little bit stuck. That does often happen.
True, but it is nice, as we mentioned, to see all of the gunners, 50 with his going 2nd and 5th, while Raven with the standard going 4th and 5th, so he's definitely utilising the offensiveness of his paras and the defensiveness of his gunners, seeing as he can't exactly go very far, but this is a perfect opportunity to knock both of these pigs into the minefields. Is it enough? No, the scout doesn't fall.
So close, but what a lovely double hit that was. He's good with his mortars, I've got to say, FiftyMeth. That's really nice to see.
Yeah, he breaks my wall that is not entirely indestructible. I have to give a shout out, though, to Nicholas and Raven and all the rest for being the greatest game testers a game dev could ever have, because they've broken this map for me in so many ways that I did not know was possible. So big ups to them in assisting with League map testing.
Yeah, good lads. Not the only map they've broken either, especially Nicholas. He's becoming a bit of a map breaker sort of by career at this point. It's quite impressive, really.
Yeah, Nicholas, codename map breaker. I don't know. There's potential for a kill here. Again, Raven just very confident with his jetpacks. He has been very consistent with them, but he's got 5 seconds to get this hit away. Doesn't even need to pull out the heavy weapons, just needs the scoop. And gets another kill. So, offensively, he has been very, very good. But maybe defensively could use a little bit more work, as there is potential for a skip here with the poison. And the para, well, the other para, because the other guy is still very healthy.
Got to say, RavenCrown coming into this one looking very confident, though, but a well-judged skip there from FiftyMeth. That's another of his strengths, I think. He's making good work of the poison game.
Yeah, and is gifted with yet another... Ooh, interesting. Yeah, gifted with another crate. Picks up the airburst and will pick up the rocket launcher. So if he ever needed all the weapons in the world to take out this para, I mean, the health difference is still very, very great, but if he combines this hit 18 again with the airburst, there is potential to drop him back down to maybe 140 if he's lucky. Just needs to get this on target.
Certainly possible with a good airburst. That's going to be short, though. Could be self-damage if he gets hit by one of the little bombs, and it is, yeah.
Only 39, so down to, I think, 151 now, as the jetpacks come in, which will give Raven an opportunity to maneuver his scout over the wall. And I'm just kind of sad that no one wants a pillbox, but I think if they had, then things might have been prolonged more than necessary.
Yeah, I think that's going to be FiftyMeth's saving grace at this point. If there's a free pillbox, just take it, because he is on the back foot damage-wise. Raven's coming into this one, a lot more confident and just doing good, solid hits every turn. If he wants the defense, it's right there. Just take it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought this map was going to go, with Raven invading, taking all the supplies, and then taking the pillbox, but instead he hasn't really needed to, because I think it was unexpected in a way. Oh, no! Doesn't get the hit.
Again, with this aiming thing, it's very strange. I don't understand that.
Yeah, again, I can confirm his buttons are working, but the shooting, not so much with the sniper rifle. I'm just having a bit of trouble.
Now, this looks like it's going to be another good close range hit. That could be...
Oh, the blimp misses. Okay, lucky.
And a solid 46. I tend to think if you do over 40 with a mortar, that's generally pretty good, because you're doing more than you could do with a bazooka. So, yeah, another nice hit. Good with his close-range mortars.
Yeah, remaining consistent. And I think we're going to see some more crate collection here. Another chance to deal damage and chuck over a roller grenade, which I guess is considerably easier than risking it with a jetpack. With a bazooka. Batter's still on 140, so Gunner's still on full health. Goes against the roller and goes for the low angle, which is also very risky. That's a very low angle, so I guess, yeah, maybe with the power. Okay. Ignore me completely, because that was a good hit.
A good hit, but 18 self-damage onto his own gun. It could have been avoided possibly with a roll grenade, actually.
Yeah. And that was actually quite impressive, because he didn't even press L1 to check the view. He just angled it straight down, full power. I guess the map is flat enough. I guess that shows how flat it is.
Or Raven has just become such an expert with the flat angle shots now that he didn't even need to aim it.
That is also true. And we're going
What a
to see,
legend.
I think, a combo here with the jetpack and poison. I think being on that roof right now as a scout would be perfect, just to throw some poison down, but no, he's going to go for the damage again, so saving the poison once more for the late game, I guess, makes sense. There's no medics to be seen, no methods of healing, but still some healthy gunners here for Raven.
I think you're right about getting on top of the building as well. He had that jetpack, could have flown up there, knocked the... I can't remember which class it is on top, but could have knocked Raven's guy down from the top of the building and then had a lovely little vantage point to throw poisons and shoot his snipes. But yeah, just went for the close range damage in the end and a bit of a body block.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen as soon as he was angling it down. When you've got a pig that's stood on top of a vehicle, the vehicle is always going to absorb the damage if you somehow don't hit the vehicle dead on. So because he undershot that one, that 35 is absorbed. And it's a tricky shot, really, to try and hit a guy on top of a pillbox. You have to be dead accurate with that angle and the amount of power on the bazooka. So I don't know. I think this guy Jones has been living for quite some time now, and I think now would be the opportune time to jump in the pillbox, but he ain't gonna do it.
I beg someone to jump in. Oh, no, too late. Never mind, it's blown up. Oh, that was nice damage.
He proved why he didn't even need the pillbox, as he takes that extra damage. Deals a 35 plus 15. So I'm going to shut up and let Raven do his thing, because that was a beautiful hit.
Yeah, it really was. I am sad not to see the pillboxes being used, but yeah, he used it as a bomb instead for an extra 15 damage. Really nice.
Now look at the position here. There's Gunner fairly close to the high explosive grenade. Will we see another consistent hit? I think that's just over the wall, so that's going to be too much. But
oh, wait a minute.
25.
Oh, 25.
I mean, I'll take that. Yeah.
Not bad, not bad. Snatched victory from the jaws of defeat there. That'll do.
Yeah. So now, maybe I'm a bit of a crazy person, but I try and get 6 head jumps here and then shoot him.
Yeah, same here. I was kind of thinking that.
Yeah, those extra 15 seconds is certainly possible. Making sure every single bit of aiming here is 100% accurate for Raven, as he does take the 40 damage to the shoulder. So the FiftyMeth now with a 93 scout, the 46 gunner, and the other paratrooper in the corner. Have to deal with a para on 31, a gunner on 83, and the scout is also poisoned. That was a beautiful double bounce.
Yeah, surprising. I think he missed the opportunity for a nice straight line sort of double poison, but it worked out okay in the end.
Yeah, and I promise that Raven cannot hear us, because now he takes the opportune moment to take the pillbox. I mean, he's got the perfect view of everything, so it makes complete sense. And he's gonna, I think, maintain. Yeah, he can't move left or right when he's scoped in for some reason.
That's so strange.
Yeah, so he has to be very precise. He can aim up and down, but he just can't. No, or maybe what? I don't know honestly, because his controls are set fine and all his inputs are working correctly, but for some reason, will it be enough? It is. So even with a slight handicap with aiming, Raven is still able to hit those shots. Completely bizarre. I do not know.
That is a really strange issue. He's compensating well, though. If that's been bugging him the whole game, then he's doing very well to compensate. I actually thought he was going to hit the explosive barrel and hurt his own dude, though, but no, he managed to avoid it and get a nice 40, so yeah, well done.
Yeah, drops the Scout to 53. But he still has the 120 power to deal with. As he does blasts him into the minefield. Beautiful.
Solid kill, but you would have wanted a skip turn, I presume. So, yeah, not ideal, but it's a kill.
Yeah, and Raven not risking it with a mortar, which would be enough to kill that gunner. And also positioning here, still very close to the minefield. That's too short, hits the explosive barrel, which doesn't hit anyone, and only the 10 damage, so that's what you risk with that low angle. Yeah, and there's potential, I think, just for a punch here, just to... Okay, maybe you're looking for the kill. The 15 would be enough.
Oh, no, you want to use the Trotter 50? Well, it goes just for the kill instead. Not too bad, I suppose. I have to say, I feel like the momentum is swinging back in 50Meth's favour regardless. Although the health bars are still pretty even, actually. Okay.
Yeah, I think if you can hit these shots with the pillbox, utilise it completely, even with with the handicap. I mean, with those pigs very close to each other, I think it'd have to be slightly wider apart, maybe, just to try and get the double hit.
Yeah, there's a risk of hitting his own gunner as well, since they're all quite close in the line. So don't know if this is the best idea, really. Ooh, this is risky. Is he going to go for it? He is.
No.
Oh, and there it is. Yeah.
Oh, but he still gets the damage. So 3v2, 80, 53, and 36 versus 100 and 150. Is it possible? Very much so. Again, especially considering the position. 50 moving his scout very close to the minefield. So all it will take is a slight knock to nudge him in.
Yeah, close to the minefield, but behind the wall and out of the view of the pillbox, I suppose. So yeah, maybe a nice little bit of defensive thinking there. Although he's not going to be able to get a... Oh, can he get a shot on the pillbox from here? Yeah, he'll be able to.
He's going for a...
Oh no, will he?
A run in the hills. No,
but for the gunner.
Yeah, it goes for the gunner. So he uses the high wall towards the high ground to block the pillbox that you mentioned. And gets the solid 40 in. So now I think Raven will be... needs to think about his position here. Kind of do the same thing that 50 just did. Back it up. You know, maybe use the building for cover. I think he's going to be laser focused on getting the hit.
Yeah, I know Raven's not super confident with his heavy weapons, but that is going to be a disadvantage here because he has a lot of cover he could use to gain himself a bit of defense, but instead just opting for these... Well, actually not a bad flat angle shot. Oh, and the kill with the mines as well. That was pretty good in the end.
That was nice. It was enough just with the 39, but for that extra insult to 50, drops him in the mines, and now there's potential for 50 to do exactly the same thing. If there is actually enough mines left. He's going for the high angle as well, so he very much prefers the mortar style shot. He's acting very much like an AI here. But is it enough? That's overhit again, so...
Quite a bit, yeah.
I mean, if you prefer it, if it makes you feel more comfortable while doing it, then by all means, but for shots like that where it should be a simple hit, it's best not to overcomplicate things, but... Will the pillbox reach here? I don't think so. Yeah, the wall blocks it completely. Which means that Raven has to bring the damage to him. The Para has the defensive position in the building, or at least on the outside of it, so he is going for, again, very close. He's doing it to close the gap, I know, but is that enough power? It looks good. Oh,
nice hit in the end, although a very late detonation. That was a bit of a strange one. But yeah, 50Meth, you can see here, has made good use of these defensive positions. He's sort of using RavenCrown's weaknesses with the heavy weapons against him at the moment.
Yeah, and that single poison is very tantalizing, but 50's saving it for the very last moment, and again opts for damage to bring him down to 43. So it feels very much... I mean, the bar says that Raven is ahead, I guess because the power's down to 56. If he gets big damage here, because it is still very close, very neck and neck. Don't forget the scout is on 53 also, so he does technically have the health advantage and remains adamant with those low angles. 31, 25 on the roof, so that is a tough position to try and hit as a gunner because you have to be pinpoint, and it now gives 50 a good position a high position to just drop this in and maybe even into the mines.
Certainly, yeah. I feel like the health bars are definitely still in Raven's favour, which is good for Raven, but I feel like 50's going to have to try and get a minefield kill if he wants to pull back that advantage, and doesn't get it there. Once again, a bit too long with that bazooka.
Yeah, slightly too far, so now 50 has that high position, but his scout is very much in Raven's sights. He's kind of bypassing the wall completely and looking for said scout. I think if he can maybe nudge him more towards the mines, the mines, there is potential to make him slide down, because the minefield does extend outwards slightly on both sides. He goes full power, gets the 27 and not enough. So he's down 26 and 25 now for FiftyMeth.
Wow, Raven's really, just by staying consistent and whittling away with solid damage each turn, is really pulling this around nicely. 50's going to have to use his poison if he wants to pull this back, but it might even be getting too late for that.
Yeah, he's instead gone for damage to bring him down to just 3 health, which makes it even more work for himself. I thought he'd throw the poison at that moment, and I think if RavenCrown can hit this, again, that is a tough shot. You've got to plonk it right on top of the roof. Even for a skilled player, that's a difficult hit, but he does it perfectly.
Really nice, really nice.
Which makes this a 2v1, 2 gunners versus 1 scout. Potential for a kill, or will he finally decide to drop the poison in? Because that will drop that gunner down to 35 health with that -10. When he takes his turn, but instead opts for damage again. Got to be careful at the minefield. It's very close.
Deary me. And I feel like this just isn't the tactic as well. I feel like he could have pulled this back with decent use of poison, but yeah, at this stage, all it's going to take is one more solid hit from Raven, which he's been doing well throughout the game. So, yeah, could see it wrapped up here.
Yeah, just needs to drop it over the wall and be enough. Again, only on 26, also needs to be careful not to jump into the mines, because that would end everything, all his hard work. He needs to get this on target to take the round and bring it over to round 3. Will it be enough? You can feel the pressure before he takes this shot.
Not leaving anything to chance, wants to use all his time to get it absolutely perfect. Not going for a flat angle unusually, which he has done for every other, but it's perfect anyway.
Just good. I thought it might be a tiny bit too long, but gets to 36 and brings this to a round 3. We go to Pigs in Space.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to round 3. We move on to Pigs in Space, and it is the brand new Pigs in Space. Revamped, new buildings, new spawns, new everything. And diving in, this will, of course, be random on who goes first. Raven going with the Med, Para, Sapper to Scouts, and FiftyMeth with the Med, Para, Gunner, nearly said Grenadier, Scout, and a Sapper. So again, we have a healthy mix. I guess they both saved their best till last with both medics. Going into this with, I guess, your regular knowledge of the normal Pigs in Space, KB, what are your thoughts?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out competitively, because I was already a big fan of Pigs in Space anyway. I know it had its issues, but it was one of those maps I quite enjoyed. But I think these new spawns and the buildings and stuff have really added a bit of variety to it. So yeah, this is going to be a fascinating one. I'd like to play it a little bit more myself, along with all the other new maps. Just haven't had the time lately, but yeah, really good, looking forward to this one. Should be good. I'm
sure we can have a scrim at some point, maybe. Get a few people
I'd love
together.
to, absolutely.
Yeah, but we've got like I said, it's basically the usual lunar building pieces that you find in the map, but basically just dotted about, placed on top of each other in certain locations. So there is a chance that either player will get the good spawn, I guess, the height advantage. So both players have an equal opportunity for that, especially if they are on the island as well, which of course have mixed spawns throughout. So that was one of the reasons I think Pigs in Space was failing quite substantially in the Pro League, was just the fact that these spawns were not good enough. So we decided to mix them up, and I honestly don't know why it has taken us so long to do that. We just looked at it and been like, you know what, it's fine. I don't know why we never turned our attention to pigs in space, but as you can see, RavenCrown will be the one to go first. He has the height advantage, but he does have his medic going first, so it will be RavenCrown to go first, and he's got a para directly below him.
Look at the majestic new map, though. It gives a feeling of, you know, like a proper, ironically enough, a lunar colony, which is another of the new maps, which sadly didn't make it into the map pool, I don't think. Instead, we got the new pigs in space. But yeah, nice new feel to the map. Feels a bit more, I don't know, lived in, homely somehow.
That's appreciated. Yeah, and I would have liked Lunar Colony to make it in. There were so many maps that didn't make it in. That could, of course, been rebalanced, but interesting maneuvers from the get-go for Raven as he finds the moment.
Yep, the standard tactic, but pulls it off quite neatly.
Damages him for 20 after taking 20 damage in the water. So equal terms, but return gained, and this guy facing up against one of the dudes that has the height advantage, and this guy who really needs to be pushed towards the water, which is exactly what RavenCrown is looking to do. He has been so consistent with his paras so far in this match, getting those consistent 20s. Really able
yes, definitely. Oh, sorry, Ben.
Just really able to dictate where he wants pigs to go, and just working out really well.
Yeah, definitely is. It's often a problem that we see with grunts is they're a little unsure on their jetpacks. They might fly at weird angles or from too far away or whatever, or they might even skip their turns with self-damage, as we've seen a few times this league. But yeah, RavenCrown's super good with them, actually. Yeah, but is he going to have time for a final shot? It's getting very tight.
He goes for the scoop, and he does get it. Just hits him on the nose, but combined with that water damage as well, that was a beautiful turn.
Yeah, not bad at all. No final water damage with the cattle prod there, but yeah, not bad at all. It's becoming a bit of a RavenCrown signature, I've noticed, is a whole bunch of jetpacks and a cattle prod.
Yeah, he managed to deal 99 damage without even touching his bazooka, so it's a lovely turn with the para, but of course that does deplete all of his jetpacks, so he no longer has mobility, and he is now viable for the same treatment here from 50, dropping him down to 70 HP already.
Yeah, now this is an interesting one tactically, because 50 has clearly gone for this paratrooper because he's right by the water and is therefore an easy target. But Raven's paratrooper has used all his jetpacks, so he's now much less a priority pick, and knowing that Raven's not the best with his heavy weapons means that, yeah, he may get a good kill here, but that damage could have been used more effectively on another piglet, so...
That is very true. He's depleted all his use for a para, and as you mentioned, yeah, just the trouble he's had with the jetpack, with the bazookas, I should say. And in the end, with 50 not being able to kill him with that bazooka turn, he's now having to spend some extra time at some point during this round killing that para who's now on 7 health.
Definitely, it's one of those sorts of interesting grunt tactics. I like the thinking. You see a pig next to the water, you want to go for the big damage, but the paratrooper probably wasn't the best target overall for all those jetpacks and all that time. So yeah, I'll have to see if that bites him, but you know, I like the thinking at least.
It's going to have to come back around to that para to take out that para on 7 health, given that 50 only has the single paratrooper, but without even taking his turn, the sapper falls and gets the extra 3 damage onto the paratrooper. But this is the perfect position for a gunner. You've got the height, you've got the difficult position to be... No, he falls down! Why? I don't understand. He had a better view of the entire battlefield and now is very susceptible to anything. TNTs, heavy explosions, just anything that can knock him towards the water. When you've got such a position as a heavy weapons, I just don't understand why he didn't stay up there. Maybe he's practiced these shots more at ground level, because I know that it can throw certain players off being up so high and shooting from there, but I don't know.
I think that's exactly what it must have been. He must have just been so much more confident at the lower height, and in the end I suppose it paid off with a solid 45 damage, but he might rue that mistake later. And Raven leaving his 2 pigs quite bunched up here. The Orderly may be in the mix there, but yeah, that's something that FiftyMeth might want to exploit if he can get over there. A nice double poison maybe on the Orderly.
Yeah,
over in that corner.
At least he's got the perfect position for sniping now, because he's got the full lay of the land of all the pigs in front of him, so he chooses the other scout. He just needs to make this count. He has been very consistent with his sniping during this match, and has preferred it to playing the poison early, so gets the solid 40, and just looking at that gunner, he's just ripe to be hit by a poison, which is not going to happen.
No, RavenCrown is just not a fan of his poisons. I almost feel like because he's still having these aiming troubles, which he sort of said he's fine to carry on with, but if that's the case, why not crack out those poisons? I feel like that's going to be very important.
Yeah, he's got 20 seconds to try. It honestly feels very unfair, but it's when it's solely on the user, because it is his controller. The inputs are okay. Parsec is correctly functioning. You know, everyone can see that he can aim up and down. It's just for some reason when combining it with L1, it's just not working. I have no idea why.
Yeah, very, very strange one, but, you know, he's said he's happy to carry on, so we'll see how it goes. But it does mean he was forced to use the poison finally, so, yeah, that's... who knows, it could have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, we'll certainly bait 50 to go and heal at some point, while he looks for the reverse moment now, after losing that sapper, which changes the order, or at least speeds it up so the medic can take his turn before the other orderly. And this is really where you'd want to be taking out the paratrooper, but for some reason 50 is just solely focused on the scout, so an opportunity to kind of force less work upon himself. I don't think if he did deal damage, it wasn't much.
I think I just saw a 20 out the corner of my eye, but I'm not entirely sure. But there was another missed opportunity too. If it was me, I might have moved my orderly out of the way up on the top there at the last turn, and then used this paratrooper to get double damage on the orderly and scout. But that was lovely in the end anyway, actually. That was a really lovely use of the machine gun.
Yeah, it works out in the end, so his focus, his laser focus on the scout was very much welcome, and showing us all how it's done with the machine gun in the end.
I think what you could say there was that FiftyMeth had a lot of different potential opportunities, and in the end, it was kind of going to work out either way. That was a, really quite a nice little turn there.
Yeah, scout down to 35, so plenty of damage, and I guess both of these players at some point in this match have said, you know what, Pin, shut up, I know what I'm doing, and they've just gone ahead and done the most amazing play so far. So good hits from both, and again, yet another accurate TNT, dropping that para down to 46. And the poison gunner losing some health too. That scout very much viable for a kill. I think playing it safe with the flamethrower is okay, but that now puts both of his pigs in line with water.
Yeah, and Raven's been making good use. Oh no!
Is it enough? No, he lives. Oh no!
What even are hitboxes?
It was the he had like a slight bit of terrain in front of him that blocked some of the flames.
Just the tiniest bit. I mean, I guess if he'd aimed down the barrel, it might have been a little clearer, but I didn't think that was going to get in the way, actually. I thought he was going to do some decent flamethrower damage, but he was robbed there.
And instead of poisoning the orderly, which perhaps would have been the more optimal strat, he goes for damage, which is equally okay. He's now very susceptible to, being killed. But the scout coming around, moving from his defensive position to get some poison in, which in turn will now bait. No, again, going for damage. Okay, so just a lack of poison from both players.
See, I'm not sure about this, because I feel like in the first game, one of FiftyMeth's strengths was his good use of poison, and in the last two, he seems to have been hesitant about it. You can see him hovering on his menu a little, maybe not quite sure what to do, and then he's been opting for the sniper rifle instead. I feel like he's perhaps not playing to his strengths this way.
It is very strange, but again, despite the non-poison use, very consistent with the sniping. And again, I was about to say, if he had chosen the use of poison, it would have then baited Raven's orderly to go and heal, but opts against it, and we see more poison here. And I think at some point, given that this guy is about to be maybe poisoned, not entirely sure what Raven's... Are you looking to do the Peckus move, trying to get the body block in combo? No, he's going to kill himself. I'm not sure if that was intentional, as he looks to maybe get the skip turn. I think it's going to just end up killing him. But I mean, it'll take the kill. You could see what he was trying to do. But in removing his low health pig, he now has kind of removed some of the work that 50 would have had to do.
I feel like he was almost stuck between strategies there, because he could have poisoned himself and killed himself to poison his enemy and do a bit of extra damage and potentially put him into skip range, but instead opted to get back a little and perhaps keep his pig alive, but didn't get back far enough, so ended up being kind of worst of both worlds in the end, really. Not optimal.
Yeah, I think if 50 had gotten the lucky spin while in the water, then there might have been potential for Raven to get that skip turn, but it was just having to spin around and then swim back again was just too much. And ends up getting the kill, which is equally okay because this match is still very open. As the MoMA still continues, 80 and 40 respectively, and some mortars coming in. We've seen some pretty good shots so far from 50 with these, but these are the times where he needs to make them count the most. That's
going to be short.
That's going to be absorbed, I think, by the rocket. Yeah, that kind of acts as a building in its own right, so it usually absorbs all damage, any splash damage that kind of falls in front of it. Not enough.
And all the pigs clustering up on that slightly scary corner over there. You've got to say, Raven, I think, is playing with more confidence. 50's a little hesitant, maybe, but still very even. Could go either way.
Yeah, got a party in the corner at this point. And no one wants to fight on the outer edges. It would be a perfect place for a gunner to just be chilling out in the other side of the map, but instead we have, as you said, a big grouping up and another, perfect potential for some water damage. If you can get a skip here, that could be huge. With the orderly on low health, it's very much advantage, it feels, to Raven, and he does get the lucky spin.
Oh, look at that! Lovely! Oh, and skip range! Really nice!
Beautifully done. And I completely forgot about the Full House Scout, so this match is still very open.
Yep, so did I. This really could go either way. I was about to say that's a big advantage for RavenCrown, and it still is, but with the Full Health Scout here, who knows, this could start to get complex in the late game. Still not opting for poison. I know a lot of his other lads are over in that corner, but he was doing so well with it in the first game.
To at least put it onto the orderly, but he's looking for the sapper. Is that just, I think,
right in the backpack.
I thought he'd... that needs to be a meme. I thought he'd maybe...
my backpack!
Yeah, push it too far to the right, but sadly for Raven, he does take the damage, but the orderly will finally fall, so that's going to be a big advantage to Raven, despite the handicap. There was a moment there where he could aim down, well scoped in. He's going to hit him in the hand. No.
He's going to hit him in the gut in the end. I thought it was going to be somewhere else, but
Ouch, my backpack, as the orderly falls. Takes a little bit of splash damage. But now, with the skip, it is a 3v1. Full health scout versus 66 HP orderly, who can now heal somebody, anybody, doesn't really matter. Just get the heal in and ensure that you keep your dudes healthy. I think he's just going to say, screw it, I'm going to go for the trank.
You know, I've just realised we've hardly seen any healing with the medics, actually. It's very easy to forget, and you often see it in Grunt League, forgetting to heal. But, you see, this is still open, though, because this... Oh, no, he has 2 tranks left. Oh, never mind, then. This is going to be very hard for 50Meth to pull back now.
Yeah, just needs to get it on target. It makes you think how scary Raven would be if he could aim without this slight handicap, but he's proving to everybody that he is as hard as nails.
Definitely a positioning mistake there, though, because he's left his orderly right next to the sniper, which means that this sapper is going to struggle to do any really decent damage, because, of course, sappers aren't the best in body blocking situations, because they can only do sort of quite broad area sort of damage. So, yeah, he's going to take some self-damage here if he goes for a TNT or similar.
Yeah, he's going to have to rely on the shrapnel. Whether or not he's been practicing with them, not entirely sure, but I think as long as he keeps up the damage, if he can drop him below 100 health at this point, then it is just going to become too much. He doesn't even have any more TNTs. He used that last one on that gunner perfectly. And yeah, a little bit of splash damage on himself, but again, that damage onto 50 is enough, because now it's 60 versus 66 versus, I think, 80 on the other scout on the other side of the map. So there's potential for a double poison, but is it too little too late?
I feel like it might be, especially with that orderly being able to heal any poisoned pigs and still having that extra trank in his pocket as well. I feel like it's just too late and not even getting the double here. I feel like it's fallen apart slightly for 50.
Yeah, he needed to kind of slot it in between the scout and the building, but in the end, only hit the one, so just needs to continue. Poison or sniping, which will it be? You decide, Raven, because I think it should be comfortable from here as long as I said he can continue to input that damage, but I don't know, we've seen crazy things happen before, especially on a map like this. Opportunities can come up before you know it, especially again with the positioning here. You've got all 3 pigs in a row. I think if the building wasn't there it would be an easy hit for 3, but again there's potential for a skip turn there. He's going to have to hit the medic, and then he's going to have to bank on Raven. Oh, I don't know, because I know that Raven's going to go for the final tranquilizer, but if he can get a double, there's too
if he can
many
get a double, it's certainly possible, but if Raven remembers to heal, then yeah, I think it just depends if Raven can remember to heal, to be honest, because he has forgotten quite frequently. And yeah, it looks like he's forgotten again, yeah.
So that will bring up the Sapper's turn, which will drop him down to... No, he's not even going to tranquilize. He is just solely going for damage.
Okay. Oh, no, okay, he's changing his mind.
So
I mean, even though the game's pretty close to being over, still, you just got to use that trank. It's just too powerful.
Yeah, so but that now brings up the Sapper, and he's now kind of body blocked himself in doing that. So again, he's going to have to rely on the shrapnel, but in damaging the med, he really has to be careful here. He's going to have to go for the shotgun, I think.
Yeah, you know what, either way, though, this has been wrapped up really nicely by Raven. If this is going to be a nice, neat shot, because he'll skip his turn next time on poison.
No,
yep,
but that means that the med now skips. So
oh, no, that's true, yes!
So there's... Oh, no, but that drops him low enough, I think. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does indeed, yeah.
If he had a little bit more health, it would have been enough. But that is Raven's first win of the season. Takes it 3 points after being on the back foot. And that moves him up to 3rd place in Group B. So big thank you to KB for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was an interesting set of games. I have to say, I felt I was maybe a little bit unfair to Raven in the first game. I was talking about players improving from league to league, but you know what? After a bit of a slow start, he played really confidently in those last 2 maps, and I think that was a really well-deserved victory. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah, he felt very much in control, and hopefully he'll be taking that into Week 4. Hope you guys can join us for the rest of the matches for Week 3. Plenty more to come. Exciting matches ahead, and we will see you in the next one.
Take care, lads.